Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Otis Statum with Project Transition, led by Dr. Joaquin Wallace. And today, for our interview, we have Danico Bates.
Thanks for having me. My name is Danico Bates from Oakland, California. I'm currently a junior at the University of Southern California on the men's track and field team here. Yeah, happy to be here. Happy to share some knowledge with you guys today. So
Definitely. Could you talk a little bit about your experience leading up to, getting to where you at today, transferring from Cal to USC, two prestigious schools?
yeah, I guess I'll just start in college. So I went to Cal. It wasn't the best experience, but it was an experience that made me who I am today. I definitely don't hate the institution. It definitely molded me and having me experience things I've never experienced before. So when I first got to the campus, I signed to Cal, willing to work with a coach who didn't end up continuing working there when I got there. So I basically signed, and then I had a coach, but he took another job. And I was still willing to persist and stick it out. And then we got a new coach, and I was working with him, had a lot of injuries, had a lot of good times, bad times, and stuff like that, both on and off the track. And I just feel like I knew that I wanted a degree, and I knew that I wanted to go pro in the sport. So I feel like that's really what kept me driving and going. My freshman year, remained one of the top hurdlers in the Pac-12. Had to sit out the outdoor season because of an injury. Well, that summer, transitioning from my freshman to sophomore year, I really was track. I can really go far with the sport and the talent that I have. So I really just sat down and really got together with a couple of 3M alum and colleagues of mine. We kind of mapped out our goals and stuff like that, what we wanted to do for the upcoming season, my sophomore year. My sophomore year, I saw a drastic improvement on the track, and academically too. I think when you're disciplined, you're able to do what you really want to do, and you start to see it show up. It was hard, but I personally made the transition because I knew the connections here at SC were more than what they would be at Cal, if that makes sense. It's the balance of athletics and academics. I think here is a better place for me to kind of thrive. It was always my dream school anyway, so just to be here it's a blessing, man. I wake up in LA every day with the sunshine on you. You don't really get that in the Bay Area, so not all the time. But transitioned here after a good season, went to Pac, just running fast pretty much all season, going to NCAAs and stuff like that. Didn't really get to do USAs just because I was gonna run USAs, but because I was in the portal, I didn't have a spot. I didn't have anybody to take me up to Oregon and run. But I knew that was potentially gonna happen. Just going into the portal, I knew the opportunity may have been taken away from me. So I kind of think it as a sacrifice. And right now, we're just preparing for the NCAA season and stuff like that, and Olympic trials coming up. So that's definitely a meet that I want to go and perform at.
Let's rewind a little bit. I know you went right into college, but how did your experiences in high school, how did that help you transition into your freshman year? Did you have any obstacles? What were some resources that kind of helped you make that jump?
Yeah, I had a couple obstacles. I was St. Mary's in Berkeley, so I wasn't too far from Cal. It was kind of a 5-minute drive away. Transitioning from St. Mary's to Cal was a transition in itself, just because you think you're at home and you think there's not going to be a difference, but Cal sometimes it didn't even feel like I was at home, when I first got there. I think the only thing is, the biggest thing for me was just, I was very independent as I was a kid and stuff growing up. Mm-hmm. But just quite literally being on your own and having to make the choices on your own. You don't have your parents at home. You don't have to come to your parents every day and them telling you, eat, go to sleep. This is what you got to do your homework, so everything is on you. You're 18 years old, 17, 18 years old going into college, and you're just wow, it's all on you and stuff like that. Even athletically, I think that played a big role, just given the fact that the coaches, they're going to do what they want to do, but it's really up to you. At the end of the day, track is a business for them. You have to understand, do your part, don't do your part. We still got other athletes to tend to. And I feel like once I realized that, that's what made me excel.
For sure. And then you mentioned you had a couple injuries during your freshman or sophomore year, but just how did the injuries kind of impact you mentally? Did you struggle with that a little bit, missing time?
Oh, for sure. And when I came into college and stuff, I was injured pretty much the whole fall training. My freshman year, the whole fall training, I didn't have no fall training. It impacted me mentally because I'm can I handle this? I'm 18 and I'm is college is really, it's everybody's dream, but is this really for me? Can I really do this? I knew the potential I had, but it definitely makes you question it when you're sitting there watching your team practice, you just on the side. Because it's not youth track where you're injured and you don't go to practice. You still got to go to practice and watch, make sure, especially me, just make sure that I'm there and attentive and my presence is still known. But yeah, it definitely made me question a lot of things like, can I still do this? Am I able to do this? I think just keeping faith in God is a really, really big thing that helped me out. And then just knowing that I'm here for a reason. Like I had a wake up call, like I'm here for a reason. Obviously they wouldn't sign me for no reason. But yeah, I had like a lot of hamstring. I pulled my hamstring maybe 3 or 4 times in the fall. And then I did it again. I completely tore my hamstring in the spring. So yeah, it was a lot. Like I probably only ran like 3 indoor meets, 3 outdoor meets my freshman year.
Were you pretty much going through that alone, or did you have like some resources or
Oh,
people?
for psychologic, no. Like for like sports psych, if we did, I didn't really know about it. I feel like that also made the experience harder just because I didn't really know all the resources that I probably could have used. They're everywhere, every school. Just got to find them. But I feel like if I had somebody to sit up there, sometimes you just got to share how you feel and you end up having a better mental and stuff like that. And I feel like because I didn't really talk, I mean, I talked to my parents and stuff like that, but I also was in college and I don't want to talk to them every day because I want a full college experience, and they already down the street. So it's kind of like, I don't want to do too much.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. So it was kind of like that. Like it was pretty hard mentally. And then when you get back on the track, hamstrings, you never know. Like every time I pull my hamstring, I never knew. So it's like, you never know like what's going to happen. So when I got back on the track, I was just like praying to God, please don't let my hamstring pull. Every time you step on the track, you just like, okay, come on. So it was hard to even just get back to running with confidence. Because you can always just run, but the fastest times come from running with confidence. So that was pretty big. And then when I tore it for real in season, I was running at Stanford like the open 2. I usually don't sprint, but I got thrown in it, whatever. And yeah, I knew that it was like my season was over then. Like I just knew because it didn't feel like the strains that I had prior. So once that happened, from then on, because I was gonna travel the U20 team and I couldn't do it. So I was like, okay, let me just get ready for the next season. So me and some colleagues of mine, we just got together. It was like we mapped out a plan. This is what we want to do. This is how we want to perform for next year. So that whole summer, we was just getting right for my sophomore year and stuff like that. So I think that really helped a lot with intentions going into my sophomore season. But then also, I feel like keeping that mentality will carry me through the sport too. Like just keeping like, you know how it feels when you're down and stuff like that. So just keeping that still in your mind, like, there's people that want to be where you are right now.
Yeah.
There's people who aren't available, or there are people who have the potential but don't necessarily have the ability right now to be where you are. So you need to, be grateful and just use everything you have to your advantage because it doesn't last forever. I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, and it sounds like you leaned a lot on your colleagues too, which is great. Like that y'all was able to come up here and come up with a plan to help each other grow.
Oh yeah, Kevin Craddock. How can I? Yeah, he ran for 3, big time hurdle star. He helped me a lot. Like he was somebody who I really could look to talk to and stuff. Like it was never during the collegiate NCAA season, but when I did see him like over the summers and stuff, he was definitely like a mentor, like someone to look up to, someone who helped me out, someone who I could just talk to about anything that's not a parent or a peer. So he helped out a lot.
Yeah, those mentors are definitely needed sometimes, man. But it sounds like the transition from Cal to USC has been kind of smooth. What's been like the key differences between those two schools, like in terms of courses and all of that?
In terms of resources, USC, I've only been here a week and I've kind of familiarized myself. Well, no, like not even me familiarizing myself with resources. They make sure to familiarize their resources to me. They present that in front of all of their athletes. Like they really care about not only your athletic performance, but like they make sure that your mental is stable before you even do anything athletically. So there's a lot of sports psychologists here. There's a lot of nutritionists here. There's a lot of things that you didn't think you need or don't know that you need that you should use, and it'll help you out. I think there's more of a family-oriented environment here with the team and the coaches and things like that. Kind of remind me of 3M, to be honest, just because Run on 3M is a very structured team. It's very family-oriented, but like when you first get there, it's pretty structured. It was probably like hard to adjust, but like once you're there, you don't want to be anywhere else. That's kind of like why I was able to perform like that from 3M onto middle school and high school, just from having that structure and that discipline. But then when I got to the previous school that I was at, it wasn't really like that. And I feel like that's kind of where things went left. But all in all, like you go through these things for a reason, right? You need to see if you live your life the same the whole time, it's kind of like, did you really live? So definitely grateful for that experience. But I know what works for me and I've seen what doesn't work for me. So think I made the right decision.
Well, definitely. And you talked a little bit about going professionally. Like, was that always a dream of yours, like since you were a kid, or you kind of adopted that along the way?
Yeah, it was definitely a dream, like since I was a kid, because I mean, starting off at 3M, we have so many professional athletes and college, collegiate athletes. Like, so when they would come to practice and stuff, you'd be like, oh, that's so and so. I just watched them on the live stream, the Diamond League last week, you know, and they're at the practice and giving out speeches and stuff like that. But yeah, and there's definitely been a time, like, I think in high school, where I was like, I don't know if I'm too sure, just because I had like a lot of injuries then. I had like osteoslaughter, so I had a big growth spurt. I wasn't really running that fast in the beginning of high school. But like COVID, like when everybody was sitting during COVID, I worked out probably every day. And then that's when I kind of got back into it and was like, yeah, let me get back. Yeah, but going pro has always been something I wanted to do. I wanted to hurdle before spring. Like when I first started running track, I started running at like maybe 8 years old. I think you can start hurdling when you're 10. When I seen people at 3M hurdling, I was like, I need to hurdle. They see it, I was like, I want to hurdle, but I wasn't old enough. So yeah, always wanted to hurdle. Always looked up to people like the David Olivers and the Lee Harris's and Jason Richardson's, all those hurdlers. Like when I was a kid, were the people who I looked up to. But now we have your Grant Holloways, your Daniel Roberts, and people like that, who are still people I look up to. So yeah, definitely want to. I feel like, why not? And I'm at SC now, so it's like I'm right there. I'm knocking on the door right now. So definitely, to miss out on the opportunity, I don't think I would do it. I think I have the potential and the talent and the strength to do it.
Most definitely. It seemed like you definitely got the right mindset. So, keep grinding, keep working hard, keep doing you. As far as coping mechanisms, like what are the ways you feel like you cope, when you did go through those mental battles?
It's a bad thing, but isolation. Like I used to just, It's a bad thing. It's a bad thing. I've learned that, but I don't know. Isolation kind of made it worse in a way. Like,
yeah,
it kind of was just like, okay, now I have nobody to talk to. I'm hurt. I'm not running. I'm going to class, but I'm not really like I'm not making fun out of anything, you know what I'm saying? So isolation was something that I did do that didn't work out. But what I would say now is definitely talking to somebody. Talk to somebody about it. I think talking to somebody about what I'm going through or what anybody who's watching is going through is definitely what's going to get you, maybe not out of the situation, but it'll make you feel better about a situation just because you know that you don't have that burden on your shoulders no more. Definitely making things known. Pray about it. If you're religious, if you believe in God, pray about it for sure. I know I do. That's something that helped for me a lot. Definitely got to pray, sit and pray about it. And just, it's a season for a reason. Go through it. Everybody has it. Not everything's good. So how I coped like with the injuries and stuff, probably just isolation. Unfortunately, now, if I ever was in that position, I would know what to do. And you need situations like that. Like you need situations to know what you did good and bad so that if it does happen again, you know how to maneuver for the situation now.
Did you kind of figure out that like yourself through like self-reflection, or did somebody kind of tell you like, hey, you kind of being isolated right now?
I think more so self-reflection, because when you see a lot of people with relationships and you're in your isolation zone or whatever, you're like, dang, I kind of want that friend to talk, like everybody has kind of like their everyday person, or it might not even be their everyday person, but if you're isolating yourself, everything relationship-wise is going to look more than what it is because you're not talking to anybody. So that, I think I learned that on my own. And then now I kind of do like a little journal, not every day, but sometimes I'll try to do it every day. But just if I am feeling away, for sure, like if I'm not feeling myself or if I'm feeling good, you got to have the balance. You just write it out and stuff like that. Just keep track of how you are mentally. And then in that case, whenever you're in that state again, you can go back and read on it and it should help you.
How has the first week of practice been going? How is it actually being there and going through that? Now that you're there, I mean, I'm not saying like going through the motions, but like, how does it feel to be on campus?
Yeah,
that feeling, like describe that feeling.
It's kind of crazy just because this is where I wanted to be. Like if you ask anybody, like when I was a kid, I used to say I wanted to come here so bad. So just to be able to like finally be here, it's God's timing though, but just to be here in the flesh every day, practicing, it's no joke. This is SC obviously, so nothing's a game. First day, we getting after it, but I feel like I knew that when we signed, like at least me, like I knew, I'm like, okay, it's not going to be jolly every day, it's not going to be what you want every day, but you're going to have to endure certain things if you want to get what you want. And then just to work with Joanna Hayes, I mean, great coach. Quincy Watts, great coach. We just got Carl Goodman, who's coach of Melissa Jefferson. He's down here and Coach Bolt. I mean, we have a outstanding coaching staff. it's been great to be here, and then just seeing like everything posted on the wall gives you a sense of inspiration. It's another thing you need as an athlete. You need inspiration, especially track's probably one of the most mental sports out of all the sports. But yeah, it's just to be here. I always just thank God. I'm grateful to be here. You know, if you run track, everybody want to come to SC. Like that's probably when you're a kid and you thinking about where you want to go to school, this is probably like one of the schools that you think of when you think of going D1, running in college. So I'm very thankful, but I'm also going to make sure that I do what I need to do on the track and academically, because there is a lot of people that want to be here, but I'm definitely going to make my mark here for sure before I graduate. So look out for that. Yeah.
Yes, sir. I wish the best for you on your journey too. All right, last question for real. How did you come about going to USC? Like, did the coaches come recruit you, or did you reach out to the coaches?
Well, the thing is, like, it's a transfer portal thing.
Okay, yeah.
So you can't really do anything until you get into the portal. So I got into the portal, I think, maybe after regionals, like NCAA regionals, I think. And then basically, like, once you enter the portal, like, you tell your coaches and stuff, hey, I want to enter the portal. Boom, you're in the portal. Tell your coaches and compliance, you're in the portal. And then once you're in the portal, you're like getting recruited like a junior in high school all over again. And then, yeah, so coaches reached out to me. I reached out to SC because when I got in the portal, I was like, SC, like, let's just, call it how it is. Like, so this was probably the first school I reached out to. Yeah.
Were there any other options that you was considering, or that was
yeah, but I kind of like going to the portal, I knew what I wanted. So a lot of the options that I may have had graduating high school, I didn't have now. Like, I'm coming from Berkeley, so I needed the degree to be sturdy. I needed a sturdy degree, and then I wanted a coach who actually like ran hurdles before. And I wanted a school with the coaches that would like have connections for postgraduate athletes. So I was talking to David Oliver at Howard. And then I was talking to Texas, UT Austin. They didn't have no money, I don't think, but they were an option. Baylor was an option. UCLA was an option. I can't even think, but portal was hot once you in it. Once I entered, I was kind of scared though, because I'm like, there's no way I just entered myself in this portal. But I knew, I was like, I'm not entering this portal for no reason. Like, I'm not getting in it to stay where I'm at. Like, obviously, I had a call in to leave, so I entered. Oh, and another thing, I wanted to make sure that it was a level up. I didn't want to do no backtracking. That was a big thing. The degree, the coach, the connections, and the standard of the school.
Well, yeah, it sounded like everything worked out, in God's grace. Ended up at your dream school. Shoot, make it happen.
Got to, man. Got to.
Well, I definitely appreciate you joining me, sharing a little bit of your story, upcoming season. I wish you the best of luck, and thank you again.
Thank you so much, man. This is a real pleasure to be on here and having me.